We're ready? Everyone can stand. We'll open the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I forget that every time. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I get it.
I was looking for it.
I think we're so used to it being...
I'll switch and then next one will be looking up.
Yeah.
I will make sure that I look before I stand. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the July meeting. Has everyone had a chance to review their meeting minutes? If not, if you take a moment to go ahead and do so. And Jocelyn, I noticed a few typos on the first page. Under approval of claims, 36 cents. Census. Got a few extra TS's. And in the correspondence, my last name has an L. Spell check. I get called health quite a bit.
Yes. We're just going to take your name.
So. I'm assuming we have a slight change in the agenda because I don't see Rick Brown here. So.
Oh, he didn't say anything to me that he was even coming tonight. He was supposed to be here tonight, so.
Okay, so we'll skip that part of the agenda. But let's take a moment to, has everyone had a chance to make any other corrections or read through the minutes one more time? Any questions, comments? No? If not, do I hear a motion to approve the minutes from the June 18th, 2019 meeting?
I'll make that motion to approve the minutes from the June 18th meeting.
Second? All in favor? Aye. And none opposed. Moving on to the fund report. Jocelyn, anything that we should know in particular, or?
No changes.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions or comments? Can I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to accept the fund report.
A second?
Second that.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, wonderful. Moving on to the accounts payable register, the payment of the bills. I didn't see anything that stuck out in mine. Any questions or comments from anyone? If there are no questions or comments, I have a motion to approve.
Make that motion to approve.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed? Moving on, do we have any correspondence, Jocelyn? No? Okay, great. I'm going to show you. Everybody must have dropped them. And we have reports then. Hey,
Yeah,
how
we
are
actually
you?
had a meeting this week. Just a few things. The drain art project I had spoken about.
Yes.
That was approved by the LaPorte City Council. She doesn't have a start date yet. The first place is going to be Bethany Church in LaPorte. It's going to be a closed drain, so she had to find some different artwork, but she didn't have copies so that I could show it to you, unfortunately. So once they're having a splash pad put in, so once that is done, then she's going to do the
grand opening or unveiling.
yeah, for the first one, and she's going to videotape it and everything for our Facebook page, and then
Okay.
also post it on YouTube. So,
Fantastic.
then budget hearings are next week. That's really all I have.
Did you ever get a chance to ask if there were any non-reverting funds that we would be able to use for the?
Well, I guess they're going to be using it for, I just heard about this project today. They're going to be putting some kind of pervious walkway along the dog park. You have a picture of what it possibly would look like.
Is the one out at Creek Ridge or?
No, ours.
Ours.
Alex Park, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I'm surprised.
Sweet.
Oh, he said he talked to you about that, but
I think that's fantastic.
the broken,
Nice.
that's the walkway, and then I guess he's going to be working with soil and water for the
Okay.
plantings.
Oh,
The new president of Soil and Water, she's very involved with kid activities. I guess she's got a bunch of kids that are gonna put
Fantastic.
that in there. I think that's what he was probably coming here to speak with you. He was supposed to be here
Okay.
tonight, but I think he was waiting to get a price.
Passing on over the
Now, that part of the conversation I didn't understand makes sense. When I
that's
came in,
fantastic.
they were talking about it, and I walked into the conversation, so I didn't understand what they were talking about, but that must be what he meant by that.
That's
Yeah,
yeah,
yes.
it's passing Gen 2 Park Department there, so very nice. Yeah.
Anyways.
The soil and water is, they're doing the plantings, you said?
Yeah, somehow, like,
And
So-
then the walkway will be by Emma's floor. Wow.
Okay, good.
Well, make sure to tell him we said thank you. That's an amazing gift again.
you can't email him right now, so.
Oh, yes, I know. I'm well aware.
Rumors.
Okay. Do you have anything else?
No,
for
that's all I have.
Any questions for Kate? No. Thank you, as always. That's fantastic news.
Great news.
Mr. Herbach, how are you tonight?
I am great, thank you.
Good.
I sent a copy of the ordinance adopting the state building code to
Yes.
the Department of Homeland Security and the Fire Marshal. I haven't received a response back. I would think they would acknowledge receiving it, but they haven't as of yet. But once they receive it, then they lost our other state building code that we did probably 15 years ago. So hopefully they won't lose this one. Additionally, we have 2 court hearings next week. The court has set one on the property on Cool Spring and as an ordinance violation, also that property on North Risky Avenue as an ordinance violation. Those are set for hearing on Tuesday. Also, we sent the interlocal agreement regarding the county using the plumbing inspector to the county attorney, and his response is he wanted to get a meeting between our board and the commissioners. I don't know what that's for,
Okay.
but maybe it's time to advertise for our own plumbing inspector.
Okay.
If they're going to get real formal about this inspection process, we might want to advertise and see if we can get our own inspector rather than use the county inspection services, because right now the only inspector we need from the county is the plumbing.
There's the plumbing.
So we might want to advertise, and now that we set the fee at $50 an inspection, we should probably just advertise and see if we can get our own inspector for that.
Do we still want to use the county in the meantime?
I'm going to find out what this meeting is about, because it seems to me that it's kind of wasted time, but let me find out why he wants a meeting between everybody. Yeah.
I can ask that too.
Yeah.
It's either way.
Okay.
Okay.
Could we advertise in the meantime? Get it
Sure.
going?
Oh, yeah.
At
Yeah,
least start.
I think we should advertise in the meantime. Does everyone agree?
That's what I thought, at least advertise.
Do we need a motion for that?
Pardon?
Do we need a motion for that?
Yeah,
Yes.
probably should have a motion for that.
So would somebody like to make the motion to advertise?
I'll
to
make a
accept?
motion to advertise for a plumbing inspector for the town of Terra Creek.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you.
I assume it would just be till the first of the year, because we always appointed everyone the first of the year.
Correct.
We always have, but, and I would assume it'd be for 6 months.
Yes,
Be a good test period for the plumbing inspector too.
absolutely. Anything
That's all I have.
that's
Pretty quick.
short? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on, Mr. Doyle.
Moving on.
Good evening.
Okay, I have the notice to proceed prepared for Reith Riley to begin doing their work on the street program. Basically, it said that they need to start no later than July 30th. And they need to be complete under the 45 days that we allowed them to do the work. On September 30th, the 45 days begins tomorrow. So, but they've got a couple of weeks to get ready and so forth.
So wait a minute, 7/30th they're gonna start, and then once the 45 days, you said September 30th, and
Right. Actually,
60 days.
Actually, the time for them begins to run today.
So is it work days and not weekends or
Calendar
business?
days.
Okay,
Calendar
so it's
days.
calendar, it's not
Calendar
business. Okay.
all right.
So if you want, I don't know if you need to make a motion regarding that, but, well, send
I don't think so, because that one's already been approved.
Okay. In regard to that, do you want us to provide project administration and resident inspection?
I would feel comfortable with that.
No, we have to do that then.
I think that we have
All
to.
right.
Do we need a motion on that? We don't need a motion on that, do we?
Holly's Park is complete, the Redwood Drive extension and the park is complete, and so I was hoping to get the contractor to send in his request for pay, but he hasn't done so.
Okay.
So that'll probably show up next week or next month. Tomorrow. Yeah.
Right.
I also have for Miss Jocelyn, I'd like to give that to her LTAP
Oh, good.
for
So hand that over.
2019, or for 2020 actually. And I see down here in the, under new business here, we've basically established the streets that we were talking about.
Okay.
We can always change it. I don't know what you have in mind as to what streets you don't want to do that.
What streets? What streets are narrowed down for the,
Well, they're in the.
oh, they're in here? You narrowed them down? Okay.
Yeah.
So we can go through that at new business.
If I recall, Chapala Parkway is one of them. One of them.
Menke, Greenwood Ave, Pine Tree, Cricket Lane, Wellens
No,
Road.
I think that's, what year is that?
I thought that was this year.
Oh, that's the next 5 years. You know how to read this better than I do.
Should be under 2020.
2020, this just says next 5 years. Future treatment, next 5 years. I don't see it. I don't see anything that says 2020. He's good at reading that stuff. That's what he does.
Should be here somewhere. I have Wellens Road, Risky to Yankee, Chapala Parkway, Michigan Boulevard to the end, Brookdale Avenue, Risky to Edgemore, and Whippoorwill Avenue, Risky, to Edgemore.
Are we doing drainage along Brookdale at the same time?
Yeah, that's all, we all have.
That's all figured out.
Wellness is a complete reconstruction with drainage. Chapala Parkway's got some drainage involved in it. Brookdale's got drainage. Whippoorwill, there's adequate drainage there. It just needs to be probably cleaned up a little bit.
Okay.
I guess these are all on order.
Turn me back around, please. Thank you.
The other thing, the county planning department turned down Mr. Pritz's development on Paz Road. I think it's probably, he can bring it back, but I think he has to wait a year to do so. So. And we had some problems. Jeff is taking a look at the pump station, where the pumps aren't working correctly. I'm going to try to get a hold of the fellow by Royce Hammond, and if we can't get him here, he's pretty smart guy when it comes to pumps. And Jeff can tell you more what's wrong with it, I think, than I can. Other than that, that's all I have.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Doyle. Does anyone have any questions? Okay. Moving on to the park department.
Sounds like we got good news on the entryway right there. I don't know who Rick would have talked to. I didn't talk to him, kind of talk to him either. So that's the first that we were aware of it, but sounds like that's good news. I think President Jennifer Heath said that she was out there and took pictures of it. Everything looked good for me. Jeff, I assume that you looked at it as well, the parking lot.
From the parking lot?
Everything was good.
First good.
Have you seen it?
Didn't notice anything or throw anything off, which was nice. The weather broke for once, we got it out there. Obviously, we have, I think, a majority of the work done, but it's the last of the finishing stuff that seems like it's a lot of little detailed stuff that needs to still take place. I know Melinda was in contact with you a little bit about planting a tree.
Right, that would be something we could, can't do it now, obviously, because we have no way to water it. So we'll have to wait till either the fall or the spring to do that.
Okay. And we need to get all the waste stations and receptacles and all that stuff out there and up and going. That's the stuff. We did have a checklist, if you remember, from last year a little bit, and that's the stuff, like, we have it, it just needs to get there and installed, essentially, which is good. And again, Jennifer Heath was talking about I don't know, we keep calling that still a ditch that kind of comes into the park a little bit. And if it sounds like MS4 is trying to work on something with that,
It looks like they're gonna-
possibly.
Depending on the photo that Kate showed us, it didn't have, I didn't think anything that had much to do with that. It was just a nice walkway that leads in. We'll have to wait and see on that. So otherwise, I think about that ditch, you have to leave as it is and not, because it's full of water, correct?
That small ditch line from the parking lot that leads
Right.
off, that's going to be water runoff from that
From the park.
slab right there in the park, yeah.
So yeah, I think that's what we always talked about, even with John's original stuff, was either building a little bridge over it or having people walk
If
around.
they walk
They
around,
can just
that would be
walk
the
around
best.
it.
Right, which is what's happening now. But if we're aware of this now, and MS4 is talking about putting in some sort of plantings and things towards it or something like that, then
I think they'll work, I would imagine they'll work with Jeff on that partially as well, so.
yeah. Bridge seems cute, but it's probably not.
Maybe not right now.
Yeah, not the best solution to it. Did you get the signs, Jocelyn?
You know what, they've got them designed, digitally designed,
Okay.
but before I actually say, okay, make them, it'll take a few days.
Okay.
I want to go with, talk to Mr. Herbach and make sure everything's correct regarding our ordinances and languages and all of that.
Okay, perfect. And then I think
We were talking about no parking too, right, as far as dog park goes, and the overnight parking or whatever. So, yeah, it's just a lot of the little things. Theoretically, Jocelyn, if we open tomorrow, are you equipped for any sort of licensing where people actually, I mean, I know we set fees and rules, but do we have like the logistics set up?
It would take me a few seconds to come up with something.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not an issue.
Because we need, what do we
I
decide,
think
just a
more
little
need-
tag or something?
I think we need to just get a date and everybody should work towards that. Yeah. And then, you know, that allows us to all kind of think about those little checks that we got to check off that we have to do prior to that opening date.
Yep. No, I mean, at this point, obviously, I feel like I'm just trying to project manage it because there's nothing I can physically do with it. So really, we need the signs if Bill thinks they're okay, and we need to get the stuff.
Actually, I'll take care of the signs.
Yeah, that's
We'll
not
get
an
that done.
issue. Yeah, they're ready to be made. They're already, they've been designed and everything. I just, as part of my job, I want to make sure it's absolutely correct.
Okay, definitely.
I have a stack of flags back there.
Okay.
If the park board wants to decide where you want to put things, where you want to put your receptacles, where you want your picnic tables,
Okay.
put them out there, and that's when we'll make them permanent right there.
Okay.
So you just write right on the flag with a black marker and stick them out there where you guys want them, and we'll handle
What,
it.
are you working this week?
I'll be here tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Okay. Can I meet with you tomorrow? Sure. We'll get it all.
Sure. I can even drop them off. They're just yellow flags that you can mark on whenever you want to do it.
Okay. Yeah, I'll come down. Sure. Thanks for
So do you have a date in mind for opening the dog park then? Or does the
No, I
park
think we
board
were-
need to meet again before
We needed
then?
them,
Is
we
that-
needed them to finish the parking, obviously, which we got thrown in limbo with the rain and then the slight delay on the
Correct.
money stuff. And so now it's done. And Jocelyn had said everybody has been on vacation. So Melinda, the park board has had vacation for like the last 4 weeks straight between the 3 or 4 members. We're a little dependent on the street department to actually do some of the labor stuff with it
Right.
too. So I didn't want to commit Jeff to anything that they weren't. So I would say we talked the signs they could make pretty quick. You think the licensing stuff is fast. So really it's, if Jeff wants to pick a date that he thinks he can get his stuff done, if I can get flags out tomorrow, then I think that's our sticking point, or that's what's going to take the longest, right?
We'll discuss the date tomorrow.
Okay.
Can we do that? Just discuss the date
Invite
tomorrow?
everybody now?
And send an email out?
That would be fantastic.
Yes, that would be awesome.
That was fast as possible.
Sure.
Jeff, we have that original sign that indicates Prince Park. That's laying out there. Maybe you can try and get that rid of that.
Back up.
Back up and so forth if you will.
Okay.
And that's really all I had.
Okay. Are we doing a fall festival this year or we're not? Because I haven't heard anything about that.
We still needed to figure out if somebody wanted to sponsor, because I think that's what we said the last couple of years, our biggest expense essentially has been postage and printing. So if somebody wanted to pay for that, not last meeting, but the meeting before, I think I mentioned Amanda drew up a more formal kind of request and donation for people as we start to try to approach them a little bit more professionally about what they want to donate and if they could help and those sort of things. So tentatively, the plan is that we still will have something. We're just going to try to do it at as low a cost as absolutely possible.
Okay. And are you still looking at September for that or are you looking a little later in the year?
No, we're probably still looking September, I think.
Okay.
Because if we keep our signage, we literally just have to change the date with the sticker. So
Okay.
that's kind of one of the ways that we would keep it cheaper.
So end of September, correct?
Correct. I think it was the 22nd or the 23rd the first year, so it's the same.
So that'll be the 21st and 22nd this year, or the 28th and 29th?
It was just one day, but I think it was originally the 22nd or the 23rd. I don't know.
So
somewhere in there.
Not the last weekend, the weekend before?
I believe so.
In September. Okay, so the third week in September. Okay. very much. Moving on, the building inspector is not present. We have a report for planning and zoning. No report? Okay.
No, I don't have.
Police department.
Good evening, everybody. Start off, we repositioned the radar trailer down on Johnson Road, just south of the former FOP lot, facing the southbound traffic facing southbound for the northbound traffic. Again, the purpose is to remind people what the speed is. Keep in mind that if you go through there, you're coming up to a stoplight, you're slowing down, you're not going to get a display. So it's not that it's not working, it's not going to come on until you're going 30 miles an hour. So if you're pulling up to that, you see that, don't worry, it's not on. Recently, we had talked about the need for new laptops, and I got a quote for one. And I misquoted on the Dell Toughbooks. I found out that those are actually pretty comparable to the quote that I got for the one laptop, anywhere from $1,200 to $1,500, and that includes a mount for the vehicle. There are some benefits to getting the Toughbooks. The Toughbooks fit into the mount, so if your car is down, you take your Toughbook out, you go put it in another mount, you got your Toughbook right there, your laptop with you. They're designed to last longer, it's rattle-proof, opening and closing. So I've asked our IT guy to contact Dell to get a quote on about 2 of those for now. Advisory board, unfortunately, there was a scheduling conflict for the first meeting, and then the second meeting I wasn't able to make it. We'll be meeting next week, and we definitely will, because the last thing that I have to mention is received a letter of resignation that we've been expecting. Bill, I don't know if it's appropriate to read it to the group, or...
You can, sure.
If you don't mind, I'd like to read it to you. It's from Sergeant Eric Kosowski, addressed to Chief Estick and Trail Creek Town Council. Chief Estick, please accept this letter of resignation from the position of Chief Deputy Sergeant. My last day at the Trail Creek Police Department will be August 1st, 2019. I've accepted a position with another police department that will further my growth as an officer and development in my career. I have thoroughly enjoyed my time at the Trail Creek Police Department these last 6.5, almost 7 years. I have taken great pride in serving the town of Trail Creek, and I'd like to think I have done my part rebuilding the department back to its fullest potential while working as your assistant chief. It has been a pleasure to serve as your assistant chief, and I was honored to have been promoted at such a young age time in my career. While serving in that capacity has allowed me to gather invaluable training and experience that I will take with me for the rest of my law enforcement career. I truly hope the residents of Trail Creek understand what a dedicated and professional police department that they have at their fingertips. It was an honor to have started my law enforcement career at the Trail Creek Police Department, and I'm thankful for the opportunities, experiences I have had as it has molded me into the officer I am today. I wish your department nothing but the best for the future as you continue to keep the highest standard of law enforcement professionalism. I again want to express my gratitude to you and the Trail Creek Town Council for the opportunity to serve this great community. Respectfully, Eric Lasnowski. He submitted that today. He starts the Monday, that's the original. He starts the Monday after, I think it's the 5th, let me write down, I think it's the 5th of August, so his last day is Thursday the 1st, which is for 16 days. So he gave us, 16-day notice, which we truly appreciate. Triggers up a couple of other questions. I'm asking you for the permission to advertise to replace Eric.
How soon do you want to have that out? See, right away?
Tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll get that
So
in.
You don't need our permission for that, do you? No.
I think we can just do it. Just go ahead and do it. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and we'll get the ad in the paper. I'll put together a formal timeline, depending on why I did not get a chance to look at when the academy starts. I'll put together a formal timeline of what we're going to do, and I will also discuss this in some scheduling options with the advisory board so that we can try to take some of the overload off of the 3 of us to handle it, so we're not going out during this. I anticipate a lengthy time. I know Michigan City is going through a hiring process as well, as are some other agencies in the area.
When you say lengthy, you're looking 3 to 6 months or before or sooner?
Well, I question whether or not we're going to get a number of applications this first time, this first round, because again, we're competing with a bigger department.
Okay.
And, this is a great place to work, but we're limited as to what we can offer a career law enforcement person.
And so then you have, I know vacations are coming up and stuff. You have enough people to
What's that?
cover, you have enough people to cover you right now with city or county?
We've asked any part-time officer that's on our roster that if they do not intend to work, we ask them to step down and start stepping forward. If they still don't work, then we'll just let them go. We've got it built into the budget that we can pay a certain amount, and it may go to max on that just to entice them to come work for us more. It's really going to be hard, this time of year everybody likes. But, we'll make it work. This isn't our first rodeo, so.
Nope.
Bill, is there, how they do those emergency hiring, the keywords that way, does that make a difference? Does that help him?
Still got to find somebody. The finding part, the vetting process is the.
Yeah.
I just see before when they say emergency hiring, I don't know.
Well, most likely, depending on how the process works out, when we come up with a list, for you to review, in the event that, actually, it will be a special meeting at that point, because we will not do that in this form. We'll do that in a special meeting.
Right.
So we'll go ahead and get the ad in the paper.
Do you need a motion for an ad?
No, he said, I'll talk to Jocelyn tomorrow. We'll put together a date as to when we're going to stop accepting applications. Also, there was a request made by Eric for the chief. They want to consider buying Eric's vest off of us. This is kind of preliminary, but we have no use for it because they are custom sized. Usually. So once his vest is only 16 months old, and we paid $882 for it last March. Vests by law have to be replaced every 5 years. So there's nothing we can do with it because it's sized for him. I don't know what we would have to do if we could come up with an agreement with his new employer to sell the vest. What do we have to do on our end?
Anything on that, Bill?
I've never asked that before with anybody leaving.
No.
What?
Do we have to do anything legally for it?
If we decide to, if we can come to an agreement to sell the vest to his new employer, is there anything special we need to do?
Yeah, the town would have to approve it, the council would have to approve
That's
whatever
it.
we sell it for.
Right.
Okay.
And depending on the price, I assume it won't be that much.
Well,
We paid $882
Yeah, we paid
for last year.
Less than $1,000 and
Yeah.
you just get quotes.
yeah, I'll find out what he's willing to pay, and I'll bring it back to you. But in the interim, because he will be going on the road, I want to make sure that it's okay with this body, that he uses that until such a time that he buys it
Absolutely.
or he receives a new one from the department.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I don't think we need to do anything special with that, because I wouldn't want to send him out on the street without a vest. So, okay, I'll get some more information on that and bring it back next month.
Thank you.
Other than that, I believe that is it. Do you have any
Okay.
questions for me? Good.
Thank you very much.
Yes, I gotta give these.
Mr. Bruder.
Okay, as John was speaking earlier about the pumps, if you're not familiar, behind the Napa store, there's a pump pit that evacuates water from the far south end of Black Oak and Redwood in that corner. John was out there and just kind of messing around and listening to the pumps because they'll kick on every so often. And they weren't running properly. And we've had this issue before. It was an electrical issue. We had Current Electric go out and do a a check of the power real quick, and it seems that one of the stops is not working properly. One of the floats is not working properly in those pumps. They're about 12 feet down, between 10 and 12 feet down, and that's a little further out of our expertise. I don't know if it's actually mechanical or electrical on the pump itself. So John is gonna get a guy out there to take a look at those.
Is that why the red light was going off?
If the red light goes off, that means the pit's full. I don't
Okay.
think that was going off.
I seen it going off one day. I got called and I went out there and it was going off, but okay.
Recently?
About a couple of weeks ago when we had all the rain and stuff, but I thought it was working. We had a lot of rain.
I wish you guys could give us a call, because if they're not working properly, they'll have to figure something out to get
To eject that
get that water out there.
Was it raining?
It was rainy then, yeah.
Okay, well, when the light's on, that means
It's working, doesn't it?
well,
It's trying.
it's an emergency. It's getting more water in it than it can,
We had a lot of water.
both pumps are running.
Okay.
The white light is just an indicator
red light.
that there is power to the unit.
Right, okay.
The red one is
And it should
It's a
flash.
little higher than it needs to be.
Right.
Okay.
they're in emergency.
So what they do is they alternate. One pump runs for a minute, the other one runs for a minute. And we noticed there's a counter on those pumps, so one has been running a lot longer than the other one. So that was another indication that something wasn't right with that
If
one.
the red light goes off, does someone need to contact someone or?
Just said he wants you to call him.
Oh, not me, I'm just saying, are you to contact then? Okay.
Because the last time that happened, we had lost power, but not enough power to turn the light off. You know what I mean? There's a light,
Okay.
we put an indicator light on there to make sure there was always power to the unit, because you wouldn't be able to tell until
Right.
it stopped.
It's too late.
So we put a light on there, it was still getting power, but it runs off a 3-phase, and one of the legs of the phase was gone. So there's enough power to keep the light on, but not enough power to keep the pumps running.
So how often do you go to check those to see if they're operational?
There's a lot of rain will go out there, but last couple of weeks there really hasn't been a reason to be out there because we haven't had any rain.
Those be tested without rain? Those pumps?
You can turn them on manually and let them run, but you gotta make sure there's water in the pit. You don't wanna run those pumps dry.
You don't want to.
So you can test it manually and then you can hear the water flowing out into the creek.
We may have to get a bumper truck, a water truck, once I get a hold of this fella, and,
Okay.
so we can
Test it.
test it. If it's raining, we probably won't need the pumper truck.
Give me a couple days' notice on that. I can make some calls with one of the tanker trucks.
Okay.
Be great.
The other thing is we've been really busy with trees. I don't think in my career here, I haven't seen this many trees down in such a short period of time than we have in the last 2 weeks.
Because you've had one right
It's
over here on Park
ridiculous
and
that-
one on Oriole or Bluebird.
Meadowlark, we had another one this morning come down across Cool Spring. It's just the water and the trees are stressed. I'm sure the heat has a lot to do with it too. So, I mean, by the time we cut up a tree, chip it, that's 90% of our day. It's just taking up a lot of time. If there's other things that do need to be done, like this morning, my guys were gassed, it was hot. I don't expect them to work when it's that hot, but it was something that had to be done. So, if you guys do see things that need to be done in town, I just ask for a little leniency, because it is hot, and that is hard work to do, to cut up these trees that come down, and they're big trees. They're 80, 100-year-old oaks coming down, and, it takes some time. So,
if the tree falls in the street, it's our responsibility to get it cleaned up, am I right? There's one that's over here, was that fell in the street and was pushed over?
that was not storm damage,
What
it just
happened?
fell. The tree just got tired of standing.
It fell in the street?
It's their tree, it's in their yard.
Because he said that it didn't fall in the street and was pushed over then?
It fell, well, how much?
You're talking right here on Meadowlark? Yeah, that's private property, it fell on her own property. She's
Okay.
gonna have to move.
Yeah.
And she's aware, we talked to her.
All right.
So,
Jeff, where we stockpiling this wood at? You guys are picking up?
all the tops were chipping, but as far as some of the big trim stuff, oak and the good wood, I've got back there.
Okay.
Yeah. It's probably gonna end up with my campground at some point. So,
Not a lot else you can do with that, so.
no.
I know the ditches behind Evergreen Plaza were something that had been requested a while ago to have cleaned out.
Right?
Any progress on those?
We've been mowing back there.
Okay.
Yesterday, I think was the last day we were back there mowing.
Yeah, I've noticed that there's a strip that has been mowed of the grass, but going down into the ditch, is it still wet in there? Is there-
The ditch behind, like behind Napa.
Well, I'm talking even the one behind, like by the liquor store and Enterprise, that stretch of the plaza, and
That's
the next one down.
just
as
started
well,
mowing
so-
that.
Okay.
We just started mowing that. So, probably a week or so. we'll
And
have
the tree
that-
issue
we'll
as
have that
well,
caught up.
there's, okay,
So, yeah.
okay.
And I know there's quite a bit of trash in those ditches too, so once we get the debris down, then we'll
Thank
have to
you.
walk those and get those all cleaned up.
Yeah, that'd be good.
We had an agreement with Dr. Cora with that stuff that's in the ditch, that we would send him a bill, and we'd clean it, and send him a bill for what that is. So
Keep that in mind.
keep that,
So, yes.
Not
please
just
keep that in mind.
material, but we're talking hourly also.
right,
Okay, I keep track of that.
yeah.
That's all I have.
Okay. Pothole patching, still going?
Always going on.
Okay. Did you get the material from Ruth Riley finally? Okay.
No, actually, we'll wait to Wash Hilly.
Okay, as long as you had got it from somewhere.
Yeah.
That's the important part.
Yeah.
Okay, because I know that was something that we were waiting for.
Right.
Okay. I'm trying to think of it. Does anyone have any other questions for Jeff?
Not at this time, no.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Jeff, did you do the one from the liquor store?
I did. I finally did it. It was chipping into the road, so
My car thing, she was over my back teeth. My tires, I always found it.
that is their responsibility.
Did we have, moving on, do we have a report from NERC?
No,
Okay.
they only meet like quarterly.
Quarterly now, right?
Yeah, and so with my busy schedule here, it's really tough for me to.
That's okay. As long as we know. Okay, moving on to new business, since there is no old business. We've already read the streets for the NDOT
Right.
grant, so we don't need to really talk about those. The no weight limit sign on Menke Road. Who would like to speak?
Was there something about that?
I just heard of it today. I mean, I don't ever remember seeing a sign on Yankee Road for weight limit.
I think a month or two ago, it was brought up about the deterioration on there, the possibility of a weight sign.
Right, that's what it was.
So I think that has to be written in the ordinance. Is that correct?
Yeah, I don't have the ordinance with me, I'm almost sure there was one on there because of fiber bond.
Yeah,
Well,
there was one, I want to say close to 30 years ago when I seen first. Just on that first J, on that second J turn leading to fiber bond. Because there's semis coming there left and right.
But that's too far down, you gotta have it right off, right?
It's got to be right off the boulevard, yeah.
but that's all driveway through there. There's nowhere, you can't slap a sign in there where that big gravel parking lot is. It'd have to be like right where the grass starts, right?
Well, that I don't know.
I mean, if that's the case, if their ordinance is already written for a sign to be there, then I'll put one out there.
I can check the ordinance and let you know.
Okay.
We can, because back in the day, we ran fire trucks for calls back in there. I remember seeing the dang signs.
I think there used to be one.
Then all of a sudden, poof, gone.
What weight would you put on the sign?
I think it's right.
In the ordinance?
I was gonna say it should be in the ordinance. I'm not sure what that would be.
What are the others, Steve?
Not with that business.
I think
But
it's
it's
fine.
5-ton load limit, not weight limit, if I'm not mistaken.
10,000 pounds?
The load, not the whole vehicle.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fiber bond don't take nothing down that way? That's weighs more? Do they drive it?
I'm not gonna lie to you, that's not.
That's not much, that's what I'm asking. That's
Yeah.
for a pickup truck.
Just see what the ordinances that we have.
Yeah,
It should
see
be
what we had
documented
before.
on it.
Okay.
The problem, just so Bill, the problem is we're getting a lot of truck traffic and they're tearing up the roads.
Right.
So it was brought to us. And we're not receiving any revenue from that truck traffic to fix the roads.
Now, can they come in from a different direction? They can come in from, no, that's the only way?
One shot going in and out.
Ingress and egress for that.
Do we own that whole road or just half of it?
Well, you own the western half.
Yeah. So by that
gotta
logic,
get in.
we're only responsible for repairing the west side of that road?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
If we put a fire
That'll
truck
work out
on
good.
their side, they can drive on the other side.
Matter of fact, that sign, when I seen it was on the eastern side of the road.
Well, the problem is we actually, coming off the boulevard, have both sides of the road. And it's not until you get around the curve to make that last due south does it split into
Correct.
east side of the road. So they're kind of landlocked back there.
Yeah.
So Bill, you'll check on the ordinance
I will.
and let Jeff know about the
I'll let
signage.
him know.
And then Jeff, depending on what that says, you'll place the appropriate sign?
Yep. I had one to purchase already, and I'd like to get a big sign over because they charge a shipping minimal.
So get it
I'd
all
like to get a
together
big
and
sign
run it
order.
out, yeah.
I already have one yet, so I'll get my street signs together. That way we can place an order and get those.
Okay. Do we have any clerk's comments this evening?
Just a few. I'm meeting with the DLGF the 23rd, Kurt Ott, to review our budgets for 2020. Then I'll be busy working, getting those into the system, as well as working on the NDOT grant. Senate call for the NDOT grant.
Fantastic. Do you need any signatures or anything with the NDOT grant? Fantastic. Any council comments this evening?
Good.
Okay. If there are no further comments, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
And we need a second? All in favor? Aye. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great evening.